Balls are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! Brought by Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch. Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better. We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now.
I made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Thursday, December 1st. Incredible, it's already December. Hope everyone's had a good week. It's felt slow with no game to talk about, which sucks. I'd like to be playing in Atlanta, but it's all right. We have had some basketball. Of course, we'll wrap all that up. Talk about that McNeese State game. Before we get into McNeese State and get into the show, what are your thoughts on their color scheme?
I'll be honest, I was in a hotel watching it on that TV, so didn't get great color on it.
I like it, but I can't decide if I should.
Is it like light blue and gold?
Yep. And what? Gold?
Yeah.
I would say more of a yellow. This is really interesting talk, by the way. But yeah, I like it. So
yeah, I don't know.
All right,
I'm not a huge fan of it.
All right. You don't like the old Gibbs colors?
Can't say that.
You would hate Gibbs. We're going to talk about championship week, of course. We're going to talk a little bit of bowl situation because it is definitely looking like we are going to get shafted. I mean, inevitably.
Are we shocked? Are we shocked? Guys, we've been in this business a long time now.
Yeah.
It was going to happen, regardless.
Well, it just sucks how it's going to happen. We'll get into that.
Yeah. Guys, if y'all got anything, any question or anything, drop those in the chat. I'll be watching it this time.
Oh, yeah, I do need to pull that up. And I've always wanted to say this, like and subscribe. So if you're on YouTube or Twitter, I guess you can like it and follow. So like and subscribe. Yeah, I've always wanted to say that. All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk transfer portal a little bit. Obviously, there's a lot of unknown right now, other than guys going in. But I don't think official contact, you can correct me on this, it can't start until Monday. That's right.
Yeah, the 5th is like the day when it actually starts.
Yeah. There are obviously guys' names getting put in there. Maybe some that have already been obviously rumors, but connections, whether it be guys that have been recruited by Tennessee or the coaches that are now on staff or things like that from the state of Tennessee, connections that people are trying to piece together needs. So I'm sure we'll talk a little bit of that. Guys that are going in, though. No surprises right now, right?
Yeah, there's a rumor that I don't know if you'll see any big names from Tennessee. There's a rumor maybe one was going in, but hasn't up to this point and doesn't look like he's going to. But the big one that I've seen today is Drake May.
Oh, what? I'd missed that.
Could be headed to the transfer portal. Yeah, I mean, it's a rumor. And, he's kind of like a legacy North Carolina player anyway. His brother played there. His older brother was Luke May that played there. His current brother plays on the basketball team. I think his mom and dad went to UNC. So, I don't know. I just have a hard time thinking. But he was committed to Alabama at one point. So, signs have kind of pointed like Jalen Milroe is probably not their option. Not their best option, I guess.
Ty Simpson.
So, yeah, maybe him not. If Jalen Milroe wasn't, and he was beating out Ty Simpson, maybe that, kind of tells you what's going to happen.
That's fair.
There. So, yeah, maybe they're looking for somebody, but I saw that on Twitter today. I don't know if it's true, but We'll see.
That's an interesting one. And I do. So before we get into transfer portal talk, did you see Eli Drinkwitz comments on it?
No.
This was, I think, before the Arkansas game. They essentially, the grass is not always greener type speech from him.
Okay.
And I mean, obviously, that's
Thanks
the hot
for saying
topic
something
right
we already know.
Yeah, I mean, he's not, and I don't disagree with what he's saying. I mean, there's a lot of guys that may jump ship too early, but the transfer portal has obviously worked out for a lot of players. Hendon Hooker being probably the main one at Tennessee. I can't think of another off the top of my head.
Juwan Mitchell, Dejon Terry.
But that's worked out really, really in the sense of like, this is why transfers should be allowed, that type of deal.
Brew McCoy.
Brew McCoy is a good example too. Yeah. So, I mean, there are exceptions to that, but I mean, it is interesting seeing. I think it happened the first year. You're looking at all these names go in. There's not enough landing spots. There's no way. And sure enough, there isn't. You have guys pulling out or guys landing certainly not where they wanted to, whether that means going down or whatever it may be. But yeah, I mean, no names that surprise me at Tennessee. If Drake May goes, that would be shocking.
Yeah,
like if that level happened in Tennessee, I would be very, very shocked. See someone like, I feel like that's Jalen Hyatt transferring. Am I wrong? I guess not the same. He's been here longer, so maybe not the same.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like a Dylan Sampson.
Maybe, yeah. Even Dylan Sampson's not as much.
Yeah,
there's one down the Heisman conversation.
Yeah, it's not even as big of a name as Drake May. Yeah, I mean, it would literally be like if Hendon Hooker.
Right. That's why I brought up the Drinkwitz comments, because why would he leave? That's so. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be talking about this. This is probably of no interest to anyone listening. We're Tennessee guys, but it's just shocking, man.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, NIL obviously probably has something to do with some of it, but you got to think with North Carolina. I mean, they probably don't have the same amount of money as Alabama does within their football program, but still, I mean, Drake May should make plenty of money while he's at UNC. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. And the transfer portal is weird. I don't understand. I looked up the rules today of kind of when it starts. So it's 45 days.
Thank you for being informed, by the way. I just want to.
From December 5th, 45 days to enter it. So you can commit to somewhere else and end up at school, but you have to enter it within these 45 days for the spring semester. Now, there's a spring portal as well that's from like May 5th or May 1st to May 15th. You have to enter in that as well. So, some people go through spring practice, realize, hey, this isn't for me. I'm going to hit the portal. And I think grad transfers can enter the portal whenever, and then players that have a coaching change can also enter in the portal whenever.
Okay. So this isn't just out of pure curiosity. There were not restrictions originally, correct? Dates that you had to be in and out by.
This is the first time that they've had these dates, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. That's what I thought. All right. Just out of pure curiosity. All right. We'll talk Tennessee players that are leaving now, but I think of more interest, your thoughts on potential names. There's been some. I think Tennessee will be an attractive spot for a lot of reasons. Most of the time when guys are transferring, playing time. That's, I would say, the majority of the reasons that people transfer. So with Tennessee, you have immediate playing time matched with current success, coming off 10-2, potentially 11-2 season. Any names you've seen that have been? I don't know. I've obviously looked at them, but I haven't put any connections together beyond.
Yeah, I mean, they offered the tight end out of Shorter. That's a two-time All-American. Shorter is a Division II school, 6'7", 200 pounds. I don't know his stats, but
I was about to ask that.
Two-time All-American. I mean, he's got good stats. So, they offered him. But other than that, I don't think they've offered anybody, or it's at least not been like out there.
Public, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're a D2 player. Give me a D2 tight end rundown. Comparing.
There wasn't really one.
You expect him to be able to block and catch.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially like most of those schools. I don't know what shorter runs. We used to play them, and I can't remember exactly what they ran.
Wow, this guy didn't study tape.
Well, I played offense, so I didn't have to study their offense. But they most of them run like option style wing tees because they're smaller players. They have smaller linemen than most Division twos. Now a lot of them, some of them have gotten away from that. Some of them are doing the spread and the hurry up and things like that. But yeah, 6'7", 200 pounds. If you can't, he's got to be able to catch. He's a two-time All-American. Got to be able to catch. The football's the same size.
Fair point. Field's the same size.
Field's the same size. Got to be able to. He knows where the end zone's at. Yeah, block. That's something that. Obviously, you're going to be blocking bigger players.
Yeah, and I feel like,
but in this offense, like
you're not isolating tight ends. You're not, and they're majority of the time they're pass catchers, anyways.
Yeah,
other than run game, obviously.
You want guys that can spread out wide. You can put them, next to a tackle every now and then, but most of the time they're still kind of going out for a pass or, zone blocking. It's not too difficult.
Speaking of that, I know you mentioned this. I think you mentioned it after the Missouri game. It may have been South Carolina out of frustration. If we line a tight end up out wide, can we just replace him with a wide receiver? I'm not talking about when we motion him out of the backfield. I'm not talking even about when you go hurry up and you're keeping a defense on the field. But when we roll out onto the field and stick a tight end out wide, can we just make it a fourth wide receiver?
Yeah, and so I dug into it a little bit because I was curious.
Is it situational?
I think it's kind of like scheme because you can run so many stuff with a tight end out there.
Right. So
like you can pull them in tight.
That's what I mean by situational. Are you keeping a defense on the field? Are we running? Okay.
Yeah. And that kind of made me like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have worried about like that. But like out of a timeout, sure.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. If it's your first play out, come on.
Yeah. Or if there's an injury on the field, you can sub a little bit.
Which I guess, you could always say, well, the next play they may want to pull that tight end in and keep the defense on. But, like you said, come out of a timeout. Let's try to get a little fun with it.
Yeah, if we need, Tennessee's going to control the tempo. So like, if you need to sub.
Yeah, and then can I argue this point? If you really need to bring a guy in tight on the next play, can we figure out a way just to let Brew McCoy be that guy? He's one of the largest humans on the field at any given time.
A lot of those receivers did a great job blocking.
That's a good point too.
Jalen Hyatt's one that I wouldn't want to see him at tight end, but he exceeded his expectations. Blocking this year. I'll say that.
Yes.
Here we go.
I don't even know. What are we applauding? Just in general applause?
He's like,
come on, people!
150 pounds blocking like that. I love it, baby.
I didn't hear any applause.
That's all effort.
Come on, people. Give him come on. Standing O's.
Well, we did get this, and it's a question. I don't want to forget it. So Matt, our buddy Matt, said, Matt Rimmer said, you can talk football, though. Give your Georgia friend an honest SEC champ prediction.
Georgia by 1 billion.
Yeah. LSU sucks.
Here's what is scary.
In fairness, Alabama almost lost to Texas A&M.
Here's what's scary. This is the same LSU team that beat Alabama, that destroyed Ole Miss. They not only lost to A&M, and I know Tennessee's good. They lost to Tennessee by 27. Same LSU team, same year. I think Georgia wins. Do you know what the spread's at right now? I do not.
It was was it 16?
Oh, dang it. I was like, if it's 14, I might take Georgia, or 13 and a half. Good night. Like, they're going to win, and they're going to win. Don't worry, Matt. Honest prediction, I hope you're going to Atlanta because it's going to be fun. That's my honest prediction for Georgia fans.
It's 17 and a half is what the spread is right now.
Yeah, I'm not touching that. I'm sorry. That's a lot of points. 13 and a half, I'm in. Sign me up. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun Saturday night.
Tease it, baby.
There you go. Oh, I might. Let me find another one I like.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Tennessee players going to the portal. So, I mean, not big surprises. Jimmy Holiday, Jimmy Callaway, Miles Campbell, Laneith Whitehead, Justin Williams-Thomas. I mean, I think the biggest one there is Justin Williams-Thomas. You know, people were kind of high on him coming out of high school. He was a 4-star. Got him late at that early signing period. I mean, he's fourth in line right now. We got some guys, Cameron Seldon, Khalifa Keith coming in. I mean, Dylan Sampson's in the same grade as him. And as of right now, he's not beating him out. So,
yeah, and I mean that one is interesting just because he's a freshman. I'm curious.
Yeah, that's one I would go through spring practice and see where you're at.
And that kind of makes me wonder what conversations have kind of happened on the back end, behind the scenes. What that is it?
Go look somewhere else, or
honestly, I mean, maybe. Hey, I'm thinking about transferring. It's like, let's make it mutual type deal because, like you said, why not go through the spring? And another thing is just because you're in the portal doesn't mean you're gone.
Right.
And so it even could be a, hey, I'm going to look around and it's all right. You know, your spot's still available. I don't know where it's at with him. The fact that for what you mentioned, not going through spring practice and kind of seeing where you stand, that kind of makes me think it's maybe mutual. Obviously, that's just we have no idea. I'm just guessing based on context clues. Because I mean, there's a big jump from 18 to 19 years old physically. There's a big jump from being in a program for 6 months to being in a program for a year. So you think you give it a little more time, but also all the reasons you stated, it is a tough running back room to get some carries in.
Well, yeah, and like, I mean, you look at Danico Slaughter and Brandon Turnage, you know, they got their opportunity because of injury, and they turned out to be the best two corners that we had. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he had 37 yards on 11 carries this season, you know, in, kind of garbage time. So it is what it is. I mean, you have Dylan Sampson, so it's not like it's a huge void. Laneith Whitehead, I thought, like, he just can't stay up healthy. You know, if he's healthy, he's probably in this rotation. Because he is 6'2", 215 pounds. He's a big dude.
Well, my question for him too, and I don't. He's a physical guy. You know where we need some physicality right now for that size?
Corner.
Crap. All right. There's three answers. Give me I'll go 1B there. 1A I think is linebacker, and he might be a little too small, but I feel like give it a go. But I mean, maybe you really want to play running back, and I understand that. And there are going to be schools because I mean, like you said, he probably would have been in the mix. Yeah. So there's probably going to be schools that'll take him at running back. So I get that. It's just we're so
just couldn't stay healthy. I mean,
that's a big
career was derailed. I mean, his high school career was kind of derailed because of injury. So, it sucks for that one. But you know, Miles Campbell just couldn't find the field, and you know, Tennessee had some issues depth-wise at tight end. I think they wanted Miles Campbell to be that third tight end, and he just, for whatever reason, it didn't happen. So he enters the portal. Jimmy Callaway, I mean, he could have went ahead and after that Akron game when he gets ejected, he should have just packed up.
Yeah, that was a bad ejection. Yikes.
And Jimmy Holiday, like,
after that.
I mean, that one's like you're just lower on the depth chart. I think he did a fine job being a kick returner. But maybe that was a mutual conversation, being like, hey, if you really want to play, like, you know, it might be beneficial for you to look elsewhere. You know, we think you do well. We'd love to have you as a kick returner, but, you know, if you really want to play wide receiver, maybe this isn't the place for you.
Yeah, there just didn't seem. I mean, it's a good problem to have, but just going to be tough for him to find the field.
Yeah, I mean, Squirrel Wyatt and Chaz Nimrod, Walker Merrill, you know, those guys, Ramel Keaton. I mean, there's a lot of guys coming back that seem to have just passed those two on the depth chart.
And I don't see Jalen Hyatt coming back. But if he was to, I mean, that's another guy that you're just not going to play in front of.
Yep.
Yep. Nowhere to fit, and I mean, it's just one of those things. It's just, I mean, you saw transfers before the transfer portal, but now with that free year, you're obviously going to see a few more of those. But I mean, that's not unique to this situation. This was for those types of situations, common occurrence.
Yep.
So it is what it is. I mean, so far Tennessee, there's no one that has raised alarm bells as far as, oh crap, we're really going to miss him, or oh crap, what's going on. Drake May makes me. I think we have to ask, does Mac Brown have control of that locker room? I think that question has to be raised.
Yeah. I mean, it would be hilarious if he doesn't win a title either. Just like
Drake May transfers and never wins.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, hey,
I'd hate it. You know?
I
mean, I'm just thinking like if you're in the Heisman race and you literally go transfer to a team like Alabama, I mean, number one, like UNC had just as good of a chance of getting in the college football playoff as Alabama this year.
Yeah, if you just win.
Yeah. If you had some sort of defense.
Well, that's the interesting thing. I mean, you talk about
but here
he's had
it doesn't get easier in the SEC.
No, it certainly doesn't. Especially not as a quarterback.
No.
0 chance Hyatt returns. Like I said, I don't see it happening. I'm just saying he's not a senior. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, there is a chance.
It's
not a 0.
It's not a 0. It's not a 0 chance. Like I said, I do not see it happening. But he's not a senior. He's eligible to return.
And he's going to get knocked because of his size, just like he did out of high school. Like he's going to get knocked for it.
I do think if he goes to the combine, he's going to wow some people. I mean, they love watching the 40. That's why they do it. We have enough tape.
That's why
40's not important. Yeah, the 40's not important anymore. We have enough tape. It was important before video cameras. I see Jalen leaving, but I've been wrong before.
Hey, if he comes back, we'll welcome him back with open arms.
I won't. I want him gone. I want him out of here. Scored too many touchdowns. We're trying to share the wealth, Jalen. Too many touchdowns.
He's killing the grass in the end zone.
He's like that. Him and that lady are best friends.
Yeah, good Lord. Anybody ever find out who that lady is?
I don't want to. Moving on. I'm good. We're past that. All right. Well, let's. We've talked a lot about this team this year. Tangented, the Tangent podcast. Should we rebrand?
Maybe we could.
Okay. Surprise players this season. I'll say it. We talked about it. We said what it would take for Jalen Hyatt to be good. I'll say Jalen Hyatt to not only to have the season he had, to be as impactful as he was before he completely blew up was a little bit shocking to me. I thought he had it in him, but the growth to get to where he's at is insane. And to do it in a year. I don't have his stats from last year in front of me, but
I mean, he had the greatest game of all time.
Yes.
As a Tennessee receiver, he had the greatest game of all time. And I don't care, I had a guy argue with me about Julian Fields being the best freshman that we've had when you're like, you've never seen Ernie Grunfeld. No, I haven't. So, like, if some old guy wants to argue with me that, what about I don't even know.
Bobby Graham in Memphis '97.
Yeah, I'll take it up with Bobby Graham and see what he says about it.
I like it. I will say this: I'm surprised by his season, but that first touchdown against Ball State, first offense play of the game for Tennessee, he just looked so much more confident than he ever did last year in that one play.
Yeah,
it just felt right from the get-go. I said it on Sunday's podcast recapping that. I said Jalen Hyatt just looked confident against Ball State, starting with that touchdown. I mean, that felt like he lacked a ton of confidence last year. So,
I think Velus Jones helped with it. Also, going back to your point of, you had successful guys already transfer here. Velus Jones, Chase McGrath are two of those guys as well.
Shout out Southern Cal.
Yeah, appreciate
USC.
you. You can have the whatever. If you want the Heisman Trophy, whatever, you can have
USC taketh, USC giveth. USC giveth, USC taketh.
Mhm.
We've gotten the good and the bad.
My first one would be Aaron Beasley. I just didn't really see him. I saw him like being a contributor, but man, he improved so much. And especially the start of the season, he was probably your best player on defense at that time.
I would say throughout the season, he's been your most valuable. You probably already Banks after South Carolina. He's been one of your key ones.
Yeah,
he's probably been number 2 of valuable.
Yeah, I just saw him more of a liability. And
no, I won't call it. I won't call that person out on this podcast. I'll let them do it for themselves. But I have a buddy who is very against Aaron Beasley.
Call him out.
I won't do that.
We're rebranding, so we can do whatever we want.
Yeah. Good point. And I didn't entirely disagree coming into the season, and he owned up to it well into the not well into the season, but once you saw how good he was and how much the defense dropped off when he was out of the game, how much better he's improved. So no, I 100% agree.
What's his name start with?
I can't do that.
You can.
I'm pretty sure I only have one friend that starts with that letter. So
it starts with an M.
No.
A.
No.
Dang it.
I'm not doing this game.
All right, never mind. Who's another one? Who's another one you got?
I won't. I thought about trying to spin that one, but I won't do that. Princeton Fant. I mean, there is no one in this world that could tell me he was going to be as impactful as he was. And credit, he's listen. I'm sorry, Princeton. I love you. Love what you've done this season. He's still not a world beater at tight end, but the way he's a guy that needed the ball in his hands though, and the way that and he made plays at tight end, but the way the coaching staff threw in these wrinkles and these new looks to get a guy like him the ball, phenomenal. And they utilized him, I think, as best as they could, better than any team would have. Loved getting to see Princeton Fant go to work this year.
Yeah, he went from a guy that you're like, okay, can't wait till somebody replaces him, to a guy that like, oh, that's going to be tough to replace.
Yeah.
He was so impactful. He had 222 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had 6 rushes for 5 touchdowns, and a passing touchdown. So he did it in a ton of ways, and just did a fantastic job with not being that prototypical tight end. He just did a phenomenal job. So yeah, that's going to be a tough one to lose, but yeah, he was super impactful. And next one, I'm going to go Brew
McCoy, baby.
I mean, he had that bus label all over him coming to Tennessee, and found new life. And even as probably, he was either wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 2. Whoever was in the game, he wasn't the first option, but he had, what did he have? 600 and something yards, 3 touchdowns. And probably the biggest catch of his life in that Alabama game.
As good of a game as Jalen Hyatt had, I do not know how you could argue that was the catch of the game.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know
100%.
how you could argue against that. So,
yeah. So, I mean, what a job for him to kind of find new life within this program. And it looks like he's going to be back next year, and can't wait for that. What's his season going to look like when he is wide receiver 1? I mean, you still have guys on the opposite side like Ramel Keaton, who's super reliable, did a great job.
It's not going to be just him. It's not going to be just him, so that's good. That'll help him. That'll help any receiver.
Yeah.
My next one, I thought this would be your next one. So I feel like I'm getting a steal here. It's Darnell Wright. A guy that, there were a lot of question marks about Darnell Wright coming into the season, and talk about having a freaking money year. I saw someone float out his name for staying. Not a chance. I will go there as 0 chance for him. Don't care about eligibility. He had his money year. Go get paid, young man.
Yeah, how are you going to top that?
Yeah. You could argue
Will Anderson.
You could argue the same thing for for Jalen Hyatt, but I'm stupid and I'm sticking to my guns about there's not a zero chance.
That's a good
Darnell,
point. Yeah,
Darnell Wright, there's a zero chance.
Man, that next one is. I'll go one more.
Okay.
Man, I'm gonna go Dylan Sampson.
Yeah, pleasant surprise.
I didn't think he'd have much of an impact. I thought Justin Williams-Thomas would be ahead of Dylan Sampson, and a lot of people did, just because he was that different kind of back. But I mean, what he, that Missouri game where he just went off, and then him learning so much from that game against LSU, where he, misses that blitz pickup. You don't see him for a while until that Missouri game, and then he shows out and has a great game against Vanderbilt, where he is picking up blitzes and did a phenomenal job in pass protection.
Yeah,
he's going to be the future
for sure. And that's another thing. Not only a surprise coming into the season, but obviously you saw him run well against LSU and Akron, but you saw him in pass block, and you wondered how much would he get to see the field because of it, and then just keeps improving. So even a surprise throughout the season too. So, okay. So Landon Allen on YouTube said it. I wanted to say it, but I didn't know how exactly to spin it. But he said Hendon Hooker's or Heupel's development of Hooker should be an honorable mention. I agree. I knew Hooker would be good. I knew he would be a good leader. The season he's had surprised me a little bit. To be a Heisman favorite for majority of the season, that shocks me a little bit. And he well-deserved too, not just – and people can argue it's Tennessee fans. If you didn't have Hendon Hooker as your favorite for at least 6 weeks of the season, you're biased against Tennessee.
Yeah, that's why I don't understand the whole argument of he's not going to go to New York. He was the Heisman favorite, like you said, the majority of the season. Caleb Williams wasn't.
Yeah.
It was C.J. Stroud and Hendon Hooker for the whole season. Drake May came on. He lost. He's out. He plays in the ACC. Who gives a rat's ass? And then you have Caleb Williams, who, plays after everybody goes to bed, and they're like, oh, they are probably going to be in the college football playoff. He has good stats. Let's put him in.
Yeah, and an interesting, C.J. Stroud probably lost it this past week at Michigan. Heisman votes are due Saturday night, correct?
Yeah.
Caleb Williams could easily lose it this Saturday. Hendon Hooker is going to be in New York is my original point to that.
I hope he is. I think he should be. And does he win it? No, I don't think he wins it.
I don't think he necessarily right now should. Now, I could see an argument for it, but I don't necessarily think he should right now. I think it would be a dishonor to the Heisman Trophy if he wasn't in New York.
I agree.
I think it would be more of a robbery than Charles Woodson over Peyton Manning.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying that's a take.
And I'm not saying to win it. I'm saying for him to not be there. That would make the trophy way more meaningless to me than Charles over Peyton.
Well, it already is meaningless. Unless Hendon Hooker wins it, then it's not.
There you go. But yeah, I would officially declare the Heisman Trophy dead. And I've enjoyed the Heisman commercials this year. I've watched the Heisman commercials this year. I will declare it dead if Hendon Hooker doesn't get an invite to New York. He should be there. And if he isn't, if you have a Heisman vote and Hendon Hooker is not in your top 4, you're an idiot.
And my thing is like rewarding Caleb Williams when you just up and left Oklahoma.
Jalen Hurts won it.
He didn't win it.
Oh, he didn't? Who? Oh, it was Baker and Kyler. Sorry.
Yeah.
He was a Heisman finalist, though, wasn't he, at Oklahoma?
He might have been.
I can't remember. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't really care that much. Yeah, anyways.
I do think Heupel's development of Hendon Hooker, and not just this year, I think the past 2 years have – I mean, that's the only reason why you land a guy like Nico is because, he sees the development of Hendon Hooker. And that's a place he wanted to come all the way across the country to play for Josh Heupel. So yeah, I think it's huge.
Jalen Hurts came in third. That was the Joe Burrow year. That's why he didn't win it.
Right.
And I know what you're saying. He finished behind Justin Fields.
Oh yeah, he wasn't gonna win.
Yeah. All right, let's talk bowl game. Let's get real mad. This is real stupid.
So what's more meaningless, the Heisman Trophy or the Orange Bowl?
Rose Bowl, I think, is the most. The Rose Bowl is officially dead if they bow down to Ohio State. They're dead.
Yeah, I agree.
They're dead. I don't know about you, but obviously, SEC teams. It's not an SEC bowl. It's not. You never were going to see Tennessee there or anything like that. But I've always held the Rose Bowl in high regard in college football, like most people. I've watched the Rose Bowl no matter what Big Ten team was playing. How it's meaningless. If the deserving Big Ten team says no, it's meaningless. It's not a big. It's a nothing bowl now. You might as well play it in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Hell, Shreveport. It's meaningless.
I mean,
if the Rose Bowl tells Ohio State, we're going to bow down to you, you're bigger than the Rose Bowl, it's meaningless. I have no care for it anymore.
I mean, that's their one chance to actually get fans in it. So you think they'd be awful?
Apparently, Ohio State fans said they aren't. I think they sent back some tickets last year, was part of, I don't know. If Ohio State fans say they're not going, you're losers. You're losers. Why would you not want to play in the Rose Bowl? Why would you not want to play in one of the most premier bowls in college football? I don't get it. Oh, you go there all the time? Oh, I'm sorry. That I feel so bad for you.
Be better. Michigan didn't even have their starting running back, so be better.
Yeah. It's stupid.
Yeah. I don't get it.
I guess for people who don't know, which I think I would assume everybody listening is aware of the situation. Apparently, Ohio State told the Rose Bowl, please don't pick us. We don't want to go. Rose Bowl gets their pick. They're a little bit different than the Orange Bowl. Orange Bowl's tied in. Rose Bowl, they either take the Big Ten champion, the Big Ten champions in the playoff, they then take the highest ranked Big Ten team, or there's a caveat. They can take, if there's a cluster of teams, so Penn State being at 8, 9.
They might be at 7.
Since we're at 7.
We are at 7. They're at 8. Sorry.
Since
that's a different argument.
Yeah. Since there is a team close to that second ranked Big Ten team, they can choose to take that team instead, which would then bump the Orange Bowl has actual rules. They have to take the highest ACC team, ranked team, not in the college football playoff, and then take the highest ranked either Big Ten or SEC team. So if Ohio State gets their wish, that bumps Tennessee probably to the Cotton Bowl, which still a New Year's Six bowl. But yeah, it would just suck to get bumped. First off, I'd rather play Clemson than UCF or Tulane.
Yeah, 100%. Here's the thing about, like you said, New York Six Bowl is a New York Six Bowl. Whatever. You're not in the college football playoff. It is what it is. I do think the Cotton Bowl is an easier path to 11 wins than with a backup quarterback.
Right. But I don't care about the easier path. I'd rather play Clemson. I
agree, but I'd rather play in Jerry's World or freaking
Camping World,
COVID movie theater in Miami. I'd rather go to Jerry's World.
Wait, what's that joke? I don't think I understand.
It's just always empty.
Oh, COVID.
Yeah,
it sounded like a super spreader event initially in my head. That's why I was confused.
Sorry. I didn't mean to piss anybody.
No, you got the joke. It was good. I did not land with me because I'm an idiot. Jerry's World would definitely be. I was kind of thinking about that. I think I would rather go to Dallas personally than Miami.
Yeah.
But also, I would rather play Clemson, and you play Clemson in Miami. So, I think part of me thinks that this is the dumb optimistic in me. I'm like, it's not going to happen. For once in our life, Ohio State's not going to get their way. But yeah, they probably are.
I think we should make a new rule. If we're allowed to just make up random rules like the Rose Bowl, hey, Rose Bowl, if you say no to Ohio State, you have to take Tennessee. How about that? We'll go to
I feel like there definitely needs to be. So we're about to restructure. The Rose Bowl agreed to go to a 12-team playoff, which I can't wait for. I love that. I just love the idea of home field first round. Love that. Yeah, there definitely needs to be some restructuring to the bowl tie-ins. I think that's part of what makes bowl games uninteresting, because they definitely have lacked some interest in the last few years. I think if you were able to create marquee matchups, I think that would bring a lot more interest, rather than you're going to have some marquee matchups because of bowl tie-ins. Some you're going to have some lame ducks because we were tied into certain conferences. I think let them structure how you give them, I don't know, base them on priority of bowl, best bowl.
Yeah.
Rank them on down the
I
bottom.
was kind of against the 12 team. I just thought it was a big jump from 4 to 12.
And then you used your brain.
Yeah. But I'm thinking of it like, I mean, it's kind of set up where a certain few teams are, set up to go to the college football playoff right now. Not to say that everybody doesn't have the opportunity, but it's set up where it's Georgia, Alabama, winner of Ohio State, Michigan, and then whoever gets that fourth spot. That's what it is. So I do think it is. What were you going to say?
It's probably going to, and I don't disagree with the people, because football is just a different sport than basketball. It's probably going to be those teams at the end. But that 1 year that it's not those teams at the end, we're going to be talking about forever, and that's worth it to me.
But this does open it up where teams have an opportunity to be in it. Tennessee after we lost to Georgia, the committee had no plans on putting Tennessee in the college football playoff.
I don't think so either, because I'm not convinced they put Ohio State at 6 behind us. But I do think USC was gonna jump us, and then you're still banking on. You weren't just banking on a Ohio State Michigan game. You were having to bank on that conference championship game loss.
Yeah,
so I don't disagree.
If it would have lined up like this, USC was going to get in. And if not, if one of those teams lose in championship week, I mean, Ohio State can just pull whatever strings they want to and get in something.
Call the Rose Bowl up.
Yeah, they were going to screw us regardless. I mean, it sucks that you lost to South Carolina, but at least we can say we controlled our own destiny. It wasn't left up to the committee to decide.
That's a fair point. We did not put it in the committee's hands at all. It's a good point.
I just don't understand. Okay, let's go to the Alabama stuff. I don't understand how the win over Alabama gets you to a number 1 ranking, and that game mattered to get you to number 1. And then now it doesn't matter.
Counter argument. It was actually the win over UT Martin that got us to the point.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of respect for that team. They didn't even make the FCS playoffs, by the way.
Yeah.
No, it just doesn't. And I'm a little cynical in saying, like, I'm happy and fine to say you really just kind of screwed yourself by losing by 25 to South Carolina. And I know that win looks a little bit better at South Carolina, beat Clemson, but you still lost by 25. But at the same time, Alabama has no impressive wins, and then they only want to talk about their impressive losses. If the only thing you can talk about is your impressive losses, then the team that beat you deserves to be in over you. And they only beat them by 3 on a last-second field goal. Does not matter, win or loss. What column is it in?
Well, a couple weeks ago, we were talking, and point differential didn't matter. It didn't matter that we beat LSU by 27. A win's a win. But now it's the point differential in that South Carolina game is the reason we're behind. It just makes zero sense.
It truly does. It truly does. And the LSU one was frustrating because you beat them by 27. I mean, it just doesn't make sense either, because, and it pisses me off that ESPN is a freaking mouthpiece for the committee. They're like the refs they bring on during the broadcast. They never freaking disagree with the refs ever, ever. And if they even slightly do, they'll be like, "Oh, I don't know how, I wouldn't have called that, but I understand why he did." No, shut up. You're right or wrong. The committee is wrong because we've already declared they were right by putting FSU ahead of LSU.
Yeah.
FSU, I don't have this. Let me pull it up real quick.
Was there any reason to why we moved back 5 spots after losing to South Carolina and Clemson moved back 1 after losing to South Carolina at home?
Oh,
again, it's got to be point differentials. We're going back to that, but apparently it didn't matter a couple weeks ago.
Right.
Again, like I'm not saying like I don't think Tennessee really deserves to be in the playoff now. I don't. But the fact that Alabama has a better chance than Tennessee infuriates me.
Yeah, it should. I agree.
Because I don't think like now, I think Alabama would have a better chance of winning the college football playoff than Tennessee, given the state of what Tennessee's at with a backup quarterback. I get it.
Yeah.
But like you can't base your argument on that.
Yeah, projections don't. You can't project when one team has a better resume. I understand projections, but you can't do that when one team has a better resume. If Alabama and Tennessee didn't play this year, records were the same. Yeah, I get it. But that's just not the case.
Right. If Max Duggan goes down in this game for injury, they're going to move them back because their starting quarterback went down? No, they're not.
The other one's in the portal.
Oh, is Chandler Morris in the portal?
No, who is in the portal?
I'm about to say he's already transferred. He can't really leave.
I don't know who I saw in the portal. It wasn't. I don't know who it was. Okay. Anyways, moving on. Speaking of Michigan, do they get dinged for their defensive tackle?
Well, Blake Orm is out, so I mean,
Blake Orm's out, which they look just as good without him.
Yeah,
it's
weird. Again, Tennessee was going to get screwed regardless, so it's better now that we don't have to leave it up to the committee.
Yeah, I mean, agreed. It would have been probably more frustrating.
Now, I'll be so upset if 2 teams lose this week and Alabama gets in over us.
It's Cade McNamara that's transferring. He's transferring to Iowa.
Oh, I did see that, yeah. I thought you said Max Duggan.
No.
It's back up. Okay. Yeah,
all right.
good.
Sorry, I don't know where I'm doing.
Cade McNamara, Iowa. Ugh, who would want to go to that offense?
It checks out. What do you mean? That checks out.
You want to go to that offense?
No, I'm just saying Cade McNamara will fit in good there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's not great. So. Hoops.
All
right. Do you want to talk about the championship games at all? Do you want to?
Oh yeah. No, I mean we can run through them real quick. Friday night you'll have Utah USC.
It's hard to beat a team twice.
That would suck for Tennessee, but I wouldn't hate to see it. I wouldn't hate it.
Well, then, if only that game happens, Ohio State's in, and you're for sure going to the Orange Bowl.
Fair point.
If 2 teams lose, then you're for sure going to the Sugar Bowl.
I like it, Ricky. Utah will win. I like it. Speaking of trying to beat a team twice, TCU. I mean, what happens if they choke up?
I mean, you got to move them back.
Yeah, you certainly do. Mayhem could ensue. There's not a plan. The same plan at Jalen Hyatt returns to Tennessee is the same plan at LSU beats Georgia.
Oh, 100%.
I wouldn't hate if it was this planet, but that's the planet. It's the same planet. UCF Tulane could be a future matchup for Tennessee, winner of that game. Oh, something to keep an eye on. Purdue, Michigan. I mean, do we tease both those down? Tease them down to 13?
Yeah, probably.
Or
Here's the thing. I think Jeff Brom is 3-0 against top 5 opponents.
oh well, he's got a new job. He's coming to Tennessee. So the focus is out of the locker room, like Lane Kiffin's Ole Miss team. They're screwed. They're screwed.
And then you got Clemson, North Carolina, Saturday at 8.
Clemson loses.
If Clemson does lose, would we potentially play North Carolina?
Yes, because I think it's conference champion. I believe.
Okay.
It may be highest ranked. I can't remember.
So those are your 2 games to watch: Tulane, UCF, and Clemson, North Carolina.
Dabo made everyone watch the game film of the South Carolina game. He made everybody from secretaries to administration watch that game.
Much. He's so full of shit.
If Dabo told me I had, because everyone in that building watched the game. If he told me I had to watch us lose to South Carolina again, I would laugh in his face. You're telling me I have to sit through this twice? Once wasn't enough?
Yeah, for real.
Get out of here.
Poor secretary. I would quit on the spot.
On the spot. Tell him to go flip his own burgers.
Yeah. Oh, apparently he had to try to back out of that corner too.
I watched that quote again. I would love to sit down and tell him where anyone misconstrued that.
Yeah. You said it.
He's an idiot.
What do you think about the coaching hires so far? So you got Hugh Freeze at Auburn.
What the F?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they got him for a deal.
What about the former linebacker saying, like, I know Hugh Freeze is a good man. And at Auburn, you got to win with integrity. I'm like, dude, you don't say win with integrity and hire Hugh Freeze.
My favorite part of that video is he's like, I feel like I've known Hugh for a year and a half. I've never met him.
Yeah. No, I also love
I've heard the phrase
a nickname.
Yeah. Well,
Cadillac to lack.
Right. I love that. I've heard the phrase. I feel like I've known him my whole life. I've never heard anyone put like a hard year on it, 2 years. I feel like I've known him for a year and a half. Weird.
Yeah.
What a weird way to lead that off. And then, I feel like every adult has encountered this at some point in their life. Just because you go to church with someone or go to school with them or work with them and you know them doesn't mean you really know them. So I don't know if I'd be sticking my neck out there and be like, oh, I go to church with them. I know who they are.
Yeah.
That's going to backfire on you. Also, by the way, let's not forget that Hugh Freeze had hookers, I think, programmed in his phone. At least on his recently dialed. And
not one that could win a Heisman either.
Yeah. And listen, I'm all for second chances. I am. But he's just so condescending about it. Yeah. He's like, I mean, everybody, like he's, I'm sorry. If you're asking for forgiveness, you should not be the one parading second chances around, especially to the tune of $6.5 million per year. I don't feel bad for you, buddy.
No. Do I think he's a good coach? Yeah, he is.
He is.
And he literally got hired there to beat Alabama.
He did, but I'm also interested. I mean, definitely to beat Alabama. Auburn's a kind of a place like LSU. Like it's a fruitful ground. You can win games there, but I've got to think A&M figures out at some point whether surely that's getting rid of Jimbo because it won't be with Jimbo. You have Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. You have Brian Kelly at LSU. You obviously still have Nick Saban.
Mike Leach.
I was going to mention Mike Leach and Sam Pittman. Sure, they're not going to go win the West, but they're going to be thorns in your side, tough to beat each year. So that makes it even more difficult. I don't see this being crazy successful. I see them recycling after 4 years because Auburn fans are like Tennessee fans, a little crazy.
Would you have hired Cadillac Williams?
I don't know, man. That hiring an interim that hadn't had any head coaching experience, that's tough. That's a tough call to make, and they got put in kind of a sucky situation with him seeing some success there at the end of the year, or at least seeing some turnaround. Probably is the right word. And then him being a former player, that's just. And then the players there are players that are advocating for him to get the job. That's tough.
Yeah, I guess my argument for him would be like, you hired Brian Harsin. Like everybody knew that wasn't going to work. So
I also love that just a year ago they tried to fire Brian Harsin for having an affair.
And then
they hired Hugh
Freeze.
I do kind of respect the just zero lack of self-awareness. Which I'll give Auburn fans credit. They kind of like, Tennessee fans, they were just this hire is going to backfire on us because Hugh's a moron. If you have to tell him day one you can't be on social media, it's just not going to work out, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's not.
Speaking of that, I wish somebody would do that with Shane Beamer. Holy crap.
I wish somebody would do that with Lane Kiffin, which I legitimately believe now. Because I initially believed Lane Kiffin backed out of the Auburn job just to spite that reporter. Now I think it's because they put the social media thing in his contract, which they probably didn't. Hugh Freeze had to do with, contacting victims of sexual assault who were in a lawsuit with Liberty currently. He claims he didn't know that. It's still not a good thing to do, Hugh, you moron. But it's a little bit different than Lane Kiffin's. He's not just a wild card on social media. He's just a piece of shit on social media.
Yeah. All right, basketball?
Yeah,
okay.
Basketball. Oh, wait, coaching hires.
Trent Dilfer, UAB.
What the F?
I thought that was weird.
Very weird.
But
Luke Fickell, Wisconsin.
That's strange. I feel like he had better opportunities on the table like last year and didn't take them.
I read an interesting, I think it was from a Cincinnati fan. It was an interesting post about how Luke Fickell probably reached his ceiling last year with Cincinnati and probably should have left then. And then with them going to the Big 12, it's just going to get more difficult. And if he struggles, his coaching opportunities may dwindle. So as far as future outlook, Wisconsin's one of the better ones. I don't know if that's true, but it's a good point. Good observation.
So, I mean, Auburn, Luke Fickell over Hugh Freeze?
I would not. If I was Luke Fickell, I would go to Wisconsin over Auburn right now.
Oh, 100%. But, I mean,
just like
it looked like Auburn was Lane Kiffin or Hugh Freeze. Like, that was their
team. Yeah. You're saying from the Auburn perspective, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was like that guy was like, yeah, we win here with integrity. Your top two guys, not a good sign of integrity.
Well, he's known Hugh. It feels like he's known Hugh for a year and a half. Never met that. Yeah. He probably feels like he's known Lane Kiffin for at least 3.5 years, I'd say.
Right. Yeah.
Minimum.
He probably knows me now, too, because I comment on his posts.
I went to church with his daughter, so we know each other. I never met him, but we know each other.
That's like, I mean, he just kind of strong. Like, he's like, I go to church with his daughter. Like, he just kind of bragged about it briefly. And this isn't me bragging, but so it's funny. I was on a work trip this week, and I was going to these home centers, and I was the corporate guy. Oh, so you remember The Office when like corporate's coming? No.
Dang.
Come on. I was in a vest though.
Of course, did it have your company logo on it? Patagonia vest?
No, it didn't.
Jeez,
yeah, I did have I have my name tag on it.
You're supposed to be corporate, big dog.
I have my name tag on it. But yeah, it was funny. Like you'd walk in and like people were like on like ESPN or something on their computers and they'd turn it over real quick. I'm like, dude, I'm nobody. So,
what's the score?
Yeah. Yeah, one team was one home center was watching the World Cup.
Nice. Yeah.
Big screen.
Good
TV.
for them.
So they like turned it off like as soon as we walked in.
I would have docked them. I don't know why you're there. I would have acted like I was grading them and docked them points for that.
Just took in a clipboard.
Yeah. Turned off the game. X.
It was very true. But, yeah, let's go to basketball real quick.
Wait, I had another Matt Rule, Nebraska. Thoughts? You said you want to talk about coaching changes. I mean, God, don't come at me.
I mean,
I
think he'll be fine there.
I was about to say you have PTSD.
I think we talked about it on Sunday.
We did. You're right.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine there. I don't think they'll win anything. I think Luke Fickell is in a better position than Matt Rule is, and I don't think it's close.
I don't disagree just because the fact that Scott Frost was so unsuccessful there scares me, but I just feel like Nebraska should be successful.
I just think with the offenses, like I think they're a little. I don't know. It's hard to recruit there. It is. I mean, it's hard for a spread offense quarterback want to go all the way to Nebraska to play football.
Will it be with Matt Rule, though, I think is the question.
Maybe, maybe not. I mean, it's more difficult than Tennessee to recruit there.
Yeah, no, for sure. There is they do have history on their side, but not.
Yeah, but who cares about history? Honestly, like kids don't care about it. They care about recent history. They do not care about how you were in the 90s. They don't.
No, I mean that's fair, but I mean if you can show off trophies, they don't look at the year.
That's probably true.
It is. I mean, man, we still have our 1998 trophy on display. It's 100% true.
I know, but it's not gonna. They know what year it is. It's not like you can this is.
No, I just think though having that
ago.
trophy in the building, even from the 60s, I think can change because it proves you can win there. Yeah. Obviously, recent history is going to trump that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but
yeah, I just think with Michigan and Ohio State, I mean, it's the same thing with Georgia and Alabama. Like, it's hard to – you're not going to win a lot of battles against those two. They're going to get who they get, and you got to kind of get the pieces and try to put it together and, work your way up to the transfer portal and see what happens.
Lane, have you heard of Davion Hobbs? Or try to forget that. Sometimes you just go take them. You don't get the leftovers. You just go take them.
Yeah, I know. You got to do but Nebraska, you ain't taking nobody right now.
Right now.
I don't know what their NIL looks like.
I think it's strong. I think it's a lot like Tennessee's.
Okay.
Strong because you have a strong fan base and you have a strong booster support.
They sell out every game.
They do. Red Balloons, baby. I do want to go to a Nebraska game. When does Tennessee play them? 2026? There?
How cold is it going to be? It should be.
Who cares?
Right?
Who cares?
Dude, I'm not negative degrees does not. No, I'm not doing that.
You'll be fine.
No. Kentucky was what? 20?
I was very comfortable.
I was not. I was freezing.
Yeah, well, it's a you problem.
You're just cold natured.
I'm taking you with me. I am. It's 68 degrees in my house right now, and I love it. The AC's still on. That's not true. I'll try to keep it on. College hoops. Well, Tennessee hoops, not college hoops.
Ball's covered,
Tennessee
baby.
Hoops. Ball's covered. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it.
I just think that this basketball team, it is what it is. It's not going to be just great basketball. It looks like we just smother teams defensively, and then we're good enough on offense to beat them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's going to be tough to beat a Tennessee defense like this. We talked about it on Sunday. It is incredible that they look improved from last year, just because last year was very good. I think it was who is it? The college hoops guy, John Junkyard Dog. You know what I'm talking about?
Junkyard Dog.
He would tweet about the Tennessee defense. Junkyard Dogs. I don't remember the exact tweet. Every single time. John Rothstein, is that his name?
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, so you just didn't.
I don't know if it was Junkyard Dog.
He would tweet. Hold on, I'm looking it up now. Anyways, didn't think the defense could get that much more improved. So, yeah, pretty insane.
But yeah, I mean, they're gonna smoke. They caused 24 turnovers, had 8 blocks. Didn't let a single player get in double figures. I mean, it was McNeese State. They're not good. But Tennessee took care of business. I mean, they covered the spread. It wasn't the first half. It was 30-14. It wasn't pretty by any means, but you're still up 16 at the half. You're playing winning basketball. The offense is just not exactly where you want it to be. And part of me is just it's because they give so much effort on defense.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I'm excited to see Josiah Jordan-James because you're missing arguably your best defender right now.
Yeah.
And your defense looks this good. They look that good against Kansas. They look that good in the second half of US. I mean, really the whole game of USC, but especially there late in the second half. I mean, yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
And Adu, he needs more minutes. He played 16 minutes, had 6 rebounds and 5 blocks the other night. I mean, he's your best big.
He should be starting. I mean, let's just be honest about it. He should be starting.
Olivier had the most turnovers again. I mean, he played a decent game, but he still had more turnovers and only played 22 minutes. Vescovi, who is one of our primary ball handlers, played 37 minutes, an insane amount, and he had 2 turnovers. So, I just need to see more out of Olivier for me to say maybe Jonas Adu doesn't need more minutes than him. But right now, I gotta go with him.
Yeah.
And man, Julian Phillips. I mean, say I'm riding or whatever you want to say, but the dude's good.
God, I'm trying to find this tweet. It's really going to bother me now.
And
I think it was that Tennessee defense meaner than a pack of junkyard dogs is what it was. I don't know who tweeted it out now,
but he continues to light up the stat sheet. I mean, assists, steals, blocks, rebounds. He had 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks.
I love his effort.
Yeah.
I absolutely love his effort.
And Tennessee's getting to the free throw line. That's something that I feel like we kind of got onto them last year about. It was their lack of getting to the free throw line. I mean, they got to it 34 times last night. They only made 19. They got to be better at the free throw line. If you do that, you win by 40 plus. So,
yeah.
But 55.9%. That's not good enough for me. It's definitely not going to be good enough for Rick Barnes.
Right. Urosh did out rebound Ziegler, who had 0 the other night, I believe. Yes.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And then, but Vescovi carrying the pack, he had 5. Todd Urosh.
Dude, Vescovi's our best player, and he is insane. I mean, I know him only shooting threes is something that you're just annoyed by a little bit. But I mean, he does everything. And the effort he brings, I mean, he runs like a literal marathon in a game. It's insane.
I wish he would cut out the tacky turnovers, I think is the easiest way to call it. Throws a lazy pass every now and again.
Frustrating. Tries to throw around a defender.
And it's always the turnovers come from him when they look lazy. They look uninspiring. Yeah. So I could do without those, but yeah, I mean, he's been phenomenal.
Yeah. So Tennessee they play Saturday, I think that's right.
Yes, Sunday. The 4th?
Sunday.
Yeah.
They play Alcorn State. I think it's 6. That's a weird time.
It was a weird time for a Sunday.
But
how did we get that?
Who knows? It's probably Ohio State.
Probably. They get the early slot. In Miami. Hate them all. I hate the Buckeyes. I'm renaming my dog. Pisses me off that he has a stupid freaking name. Except I do get to go brew. Probably come running in here in a second. Anything else for Vol Soups?
That's all I got. Yeah, just without Josiah Jordan James, so this team's only going to get better. More important issues with more important issues. We got anything? We got any comments on?
I've been off Twitter for now, so if we did, I probably missed them. I'm sorry. Apologies to everyone. Not to you, Landon.
Just to me.
I thought I had some. Let me see if I can find them. I need to do better about organizing my screenshots because I just screenshot everything for stupidity, most important, all that good stuff. Then I just have to scroll through all my pictures. So I'm not good about this.
I will say this. Shout out to my wife for hanging up all my
Yeah,
Decor.
it looks
It
good.
looks awesome.
I went more manly when I said that looks good. I called it memorabilia. So if you want
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Just
not decor.
Yeah, just to make it. I think she
Okay.
said I hung up all of Landon's decor, and I just
Oh, did
passed
she
it
tell you that?
She sent me a Snapchat of the I guess man cave
Okay.
when she got it all done. So, I believe she did call it decor though.
Hmm.
You know what are you gonna do?
Yeah. She hung it up, so I'll let her call it what she wants.
I don't think I have more important issues. More important issues. Sorry, I don't know where it went. I had one, but I don't know where it went. So, yeah,
Okay.
I'm terrible. I suck at this. I'm sorry, guys. Ugh.
I'll go stupidity. We going stupidity?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with whatever U.S. soccer media person decided to take whatever thing off the Iranian flag. What do you? Why?
Yeah.
It's just so dumb. I mean, Tennessee, U.S. ended up winning. Doesn't sound like FIFA's going to do anything about it, but just why put anyone in that position for one social media post? And they said it was just for one. I'm like, just and whatever's going on in Iran is not obviously don't support it or condone it, but just seems like an interesting thing to not put your face behind. So because it's some random person operating social media, it's very strange. Very strange.
Yeah. My next thing is don't copy what we tweet or put on Instagram. Just stop.
Oh, we got an Instagram copy now.
No, we don't. I'm
Okay.
just on whatever. Just don't.
Covering bases.
Yeah, I mean, like if somebody tweets something and then you go and like tweet like basically the exact same thing and just reword it, it's still plagiarism. I don't know if
You're gonna go.
You ever been to school?
You're gonna go
It's just-
USA
it's just
USA
annoying.
Today on them.
I just like it happens so much. It's just so annoying. And also Shane Beamer. I mean, are you just searching? Because
What did he
he didn't tag him in anything. So a Tennessee fan apparently
missed this.
it was like Shane Beamer's going to be on the Marty McGee show and SEC Nation or something like that. And a Tennessee fan said, "I would rather listen to my wife's fingernails on a chalkboard." And Shane Beamer quote tweeted and said, "Does that mean you won't be tuning in, Jeff?" Question mark. I was wondering where all the Tennessee fans that lived in my Twitter mentions for the last year went. Haven't heard from you in a couple weeks. Welcome back. Good luck in your bowl game.
So they didn't mention him though.
No.
Like he wasn't in the. Did they tag him in the original tweet and he responded? That may have been. That may have been it. I'm gonna give Shane Beamer a little.
But he wouldn't see that.
Yeah, you do. But I mean, to be fair, it's not like he went out of his way to mention him. To be fair to that point, but he quote tweeted. Yeah, I don't think he would see that. Yeah,
he
sorry.
wouldn't see.
I thought you meant. I was just asking if you responded. Also, I love that Jeff Caps has his replies turned off, like only to people that follow him, and so Shane went and quote tweeted it.
So then an attorney in Knoxville said, "Shane, you're better than this, man. Don't turn into Lane Kiffin. I'm certain your dad taught you better, and the guys you worked with did as well." And Shane Beamer said, "It was a joke. Relax. I love my 3 years living in Knoxville and still have some great friends that are Vols. They laughed at it. Find some joy." So, I mean, this man is just like, out there.
He went Lane Kiffin and Hugh Freeze all in the same night. Remember Find Joy or what was it?
Yeah.
Just Joy.
Choose joy.
Choose Joy when Hugh Freeze was just randomly dropping in Tennessee fans' DMs. That's creepy, by the way. Can we recognize that? Like he was just, thanks for your support. That's weird, Hugh. Also, did you see the Brittany Wagner video?
Mm-mm.
Apparently, Hugh would just like walk in when he was.
Oh, yeah, I did
people.
see that. I want to see ankles.
Listen, the logic is solid. I 100% agree with the logic, but Hugh, asking an 18-year-old boy to see his ankles, that's weird.
Yeah, I mean, a foot fetish is a real thing. So if you have it, just admit it.
Yeah, listen, I'm all.
You say you're a changed man in integrity. I bet you show a little honesty here.
I'm all for the logic. There's a big difference. Athletic people have ankles. Unathletic people have cankles. I'm with you. Fully support, fully endorse. Just wait till they put shorts on. That's part of looking good in shorts. You don't need to roll up their pant legs for it.
Yeah.
It's weird, bro. It's weird. Creeping us out.
I mean, do it like, hey guys, let's let's stretch a little bit. Let's take off our shoes. Let's be a little.
Be careful. If you give Hugh Freeze
strategy,
if you give Hugh Freeze the right to ask people to remove clothing, he will do it in a heartbeat. He will not hesitate. No matter who they are, where they are, he'll do it. Whatever age.
Well, if you want to find out anything about Hugh Freeze, we'll just ask that guy that went to church with his daughter.
He probably does know a lot.
Oh
what an insufferable douchebag. All right, moving on. I hate people like that.
But yeah, Shane Beamer, I mean, like, you're just like, that's ballsy. That is ballsy.
You gotta follow it up, man.
Yep. Now everything you do, that's coming back on you.
See, Lane Kiffin can do it to Tennessee fans because he only sees them once every 6 years.
Yeah.
Some of that, you see him every year. Next year, buddy, you got to come to Knoxville.
Yep.
Yikes. I cannot. God, I hope we beat the living dog shit out of him now. I don't have a problem with it, but I also want to beat the dog shit out of you now.
Yep. Makes it a little bit sweeter. You got any more stupidities?
No, that's it for me.
Cool. Guys, that's all we got. Thanks for listening. Also,
subscribe, retweet,
subscribe,
share
all that.
Tell your friends, your mom, your dad, your
sponsors.
Your cousin.
Looking for some sponsors. If you'd like to do business with us, you see the Ham and Goodies down there. Shout out Ham and Goodies.
Cookies.
We would love to have you as a sponsor, whether it's tailgates, show sponsor, like for us to just retweet your stuff, whatever. We got kind of a package for everything. So hit us up. We'd love to kind of talk about that. So if you have a local business that you would like to let us advertise, we'd love to do it. So hit us up. You can email us at moreimportantissues16@gmail.com, or you just hop in one of our DMs or More Important Issues. We'll all see it. So guys, thanks again for listening. We'll be back on Sunday, maybe at a different time. We'll keep in touch. We'll post it and let you know. So thanks again. Have a good week. Have a good Friday. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.
Oh.